Alright, welcome back to the daily, number 597, where we are learning from innovation to be a better gamer. We've seen this cool opening that utilizes the Hellbat drops to delay the Protoss as much as humanly possible, primarily by forcing him to build Stalkers, which are by and large not very useful for Protoss in those early game stages. They interrupt the Protoss' ability to go to all these massive tech pathy switchy thingies. But I think more importantly is that Protoss players are trying to do the mass tech switchy thingies instead of staying a little bit more focused with a single straight up clear mixture, which I think will soon enough be kind of the norm in PvT. But for now, we've seen that Innovation has set himself up nicely. He has these 3 bases. Oh gosh, I completely forgot to mention these. Innovation is gearing everything up to do this gigantic mid-game attack at 2-2. And I just want to show all the pieces coming together very rapidly. 2 barracks go down, immediately followed by 2 engineering bays. It's been largely these 3 structures and SCV production. And then all of a sudden, boom, adding on 2 barracks the instant these ones are done. The instant this command center lifts and moves over to the 3rd, Innovation gets a 2nd starport going, oh, hey Protoss, I see the fact that you are actually not really getting much else than Colossus and a couple Stalkers, which are delaying things. And then concurrently with the 1-1 finishing up, come on, get your 2-2, get your 2-2, man. There's one of the 2. There's the other one of the 2. Concurrent with 2-2 going down, we see these other barracks plopping down as well. Now, just to note, this is 8 barracks production, 2 starport, 1 factory. Innovation doesn't even have a penny to be able to build another command center. And in production, we even see that Innovation has cut SCV production. Or he's just supply blocked and I'm a dummy. I'm pretty sure he cut SCV production. Yeah, I don't see any SCVs getting built. He just stops at the nice clean 66. Notice, 66 is perfect saturation, 3 on each gas, 16 on the minerals on each base. 66 is the big money number. Stops exactly at that, so he can pour all of his resources optimally into this big play. And of course, 3 reactors on 8 barracks. This harassment is neat, but this is not designed to be an engaging force unless the overwhelming numbers are clear. This drop designed to do more damage via forcing Zealot warp-ins than actually killing off this Nexus, although killing the Nexus is a nice little perk. And everything leads very nicely up to 2-2 finishing. And yeah, I know that the vehicle ship plating is behind. It could have been earlier. I think he just whiffed it.
Mineral field upgrade complete.
And here it comes with 2-2 done. And he has stopped building SCVs at 66. And of course we can see up in this army supply tab, Innovation's army is actually huge. It's very easy to go, oh man, how do you stop this? Oh, it's the composition. No, look at his friggin' army, man. He has like 30 more dudes. And of course this is typical in TvP to be out fooding your enemies. But it's just very easy with these Marauders, able to just blast everything down. 2-2's done. 0-3 upgrades, not really particularly relevant, because we don't even really have that many minions at the front lines. And the Zealots are getting warped in. Dunzo. So here's something I want to do. I want to cut back to 16 minutes. Yeah! Now here's something that many people ask themselves. How do you beat that? Ugh. Let's go into a unit tester. But first, before we go into a unit tester, let's get some data. So here I have a notepad. I'm going to get a calculator. Great. We now have all the tools that we will ever need to do our unit test. So we can come to places like this, and we can see what the exact distribution is. Let's see, for Protoss, it was 4K, 2K. And for Terran, I'll just go ahead and take his exact composition, which was, Terran was, let's see, his was about 6K, 1.7K. Did I get that wrong? Did I get his army size wrong? Yeah, I guess I'll round it up to 6K, I don't really care. How much of this stuff is missing in this force? He has a couple stragglers. by and large, most of his dudes are actually going to be participating in this battle. And I want to go ahead and get a count of what we're actually going to be up against. I'll do 6 medevacs because 2 are delayed. We have 5 Vikings, 11 Hellbats, 22 Marauders, 17 Marines. I'm not going to count that mine, dudes. I'm genuinely not. Okay, so let's do 18 Zealots, 2 Colossus, 9 Stalker, 1 Sentry, 4 Templar. I don't care about the Mothership Core. It's just not really going to be very relevant to me. I know you can do some cool micro with it, but again, I'm going to ignore it, and you'll see exactly why. In addition to this, there's another sort of hidden resource that I'm going to be examining as Protoss, which is things like, if I look into these upgrades, thinking, man, what if I didn't have Storm in this Templar Archives? How much more gas would that have been? About 400. I have this +1 almost done, so that's some extra gas. And actually, you can even see in the Structures tab that these cost gas, but I'll probably have to build those. This I could probably cut. We're looking for ways to get extra gas or extra resources into this force. And we have these 10 gateways that are really not being used to the fullest. And of course, everyone hears the ice cream truck, which means that everyone immediately loses focus, including me. Here's what we're going to do now with our data in here. And if you ever need anything, you can do some calculations. Like, look, you know how calculations work. So this is what I'm going to do. There's a number of unit testers that are really, really good. They're pretty easy to find, so you can actually just go to the arcade. You can look up here and just do HOTS unit tester. Is this the one? Yeah. Alright, HOTS unit tester online, version 1.1. So I'm going to enter the lobby with myself, because few things solve more problems than playing with yourself. I couldn't help myself, could I? Nope, nope, nope. Do-do-do-do-do. So what's nice about this is that we can actually establish really clear distributions of units. Now, if you've never used one of these unit testers, I can click on Terran and, for instance, give them 2-2 upgrades like this by clicking. I think you can just hit clear. Actually, how do you reset? Reset? Reset options? Oh no, what if I click it again? Oh, you just click it again. Okay. Okay, nice. So now what I can do is I can go to my handy dandy notepad with my data and I can make the money unit mix. Okay, how many Marines were there? There were 17 Marines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, let me actually change the terrain. Let me go to a field. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, I can actually see the number there. These things are really useful, especially if you have someone to practice with. Let's get some more Marauders in there. Oh, how many Hellbats do we have? Oh, man. This is fun. Look at me just making armies straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, we got a Terran army. So let's go over to the Protoss side. We have about the same amount of money that we saw in the previous game. Remember, it was 111 supply army. Well, we now have 107. Well, in this case, I had 4K, 2K to play with. But you know what? If I didn't have those Templar in there, those pesky Templar, let me just do 2K in there, then I could probably be at about 2.5K. No Templar Archives, no Storm, and rounding up. I'm genuinely surprised that this number is so low, but, you know, so be it. So be it. But now we can actually use this to try to think of another composition. I've told you sentries are quite good. Colossus quite good. So I'm going to go 3 Colossus. Yeah! Alright, most of my money's been spent. With no Templar, let me actually add in the Stalkers first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're seeing that we're actually not even really close to maxing out all our funds. We gave ourselves 4K and 2.5K. So you know what? I'm going to add in some more Stalkers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What else do we have here? We are certainly going to have some Zealots. We'll have Zealots in any force, but I do like a good amount of sentries against this composition. And geez, I still have money left over. Screw it. I'll add another Colossus. And I'll just add zealots until I'm up. Okay, nice. Alright. Start. Now, this army that I'll even move stuff out of the way for, this is the sort of army that very typically we don't see nowadays, but looks quite strong. But it's still about the same amount of resources as 18 Zealots, 2 Colossus, 9 Stalkers, 1 Sentry, and 4 Templar. In fact, let me go back and just double check this. Yeah, I didn't even use up all the 2.5k gas that I think that I could have allowed myself to have. So, oops, I forgot to give myself... I'm going to go ahead and give myself... let's do +2 armor, +1 ground. In the other game we had +3 armor and +1 ground. But I'm just going to go ahead and give myself that. So let's go ahead and arrange things a little more reasonably here. We have our Hellbats at our front. Now, this is not going to look very good because I don't have someone to test with. But the important thing is that I just want to show you that you can do this at all. Do I want to give these things blank? Yeah, let's do upgrades. Alright, cool. I guess they have all abilities. Oh, whoops, I forgot to give Stim and Combat Shield to them. Thank God they're there now. So this is Control 2, this is Control 1. Now, if I were able to control 2 armies at once, this would be a lot better of an example. But it's these sorts of armies that we just don't really see fight nowadays. Now, obviously, I'm rigging this a ton, because Terrans would utilize some micro to be smart about this, at least in some regard. And the Protoss player would pull the sentries back in some small numbers. But this is the sort of thing that I encourage you to do a lot. In an open field, we normally don't have this type of engagement angle. We don't have these huge, wide, sweeping things. So we will also, oops, turn vision back on. We can also do some sort of corridor. Oh, geez, that's going to be the worst thing ever. Where is pass? There we go. I couldn't remember which one it was called. Now these are much more comparable to what we would see on a map like Akalon Wastes, on a map like even on Whirlwind. Only in the absolute center of Whirlwind would we have this huge... No, stop clicking the wrong things. Would we have these sorts of huge fields. But even then, you can try to start tipping the battle in your favor by engaging at these various angles. So, alright. Go troops.
Not enough energy.
Now, the one thing that's difficult is I actually have mouse scrolling off, so I had to drag my screen like that if I want to micro. This is just a disaster. This is terrible. Oh my god. Alright, but I am... Alright, trying again. Terrain. Do it. Corridor. Yeah. Start. Nope. Terrain. Pass. There we go. These are the sorts of things I actually fiddle with for a long amount of time. In mid to small numbers, the sentries work very well. In large numbers, they're working not as well. In those huge, large pass areas. Oops, I gotta reset this because these things are not at the front. This is a lot easier than playing like 15 games in a row on the ladder and trying to re-engage all the time. Alright, who thinks I can do it? Yeah! Yeah! Oh, feeling good. Looks like the Vikings are doing some damage, but... Well, I'm not target firing any of them. Die, Vikings. Yeah! Alright. I'm the worst at trying to control 1.2 armies at the same time. But that's fine. That's the sort of thing that... in those situations where it's easy to go, oh, how do you beat this? There's no way compositionally to do that. Well, I just was able to look at the army size, write down the numbers, switch in there, and now we have perfectly straightforward grounds to do this sort of testing. I want to go into the next game. Right here. Oh, Season 1 Finals! Yeah. Number 3. So, in this circumstance, we've seen in Part 1 just a really nice build from Terran that got us into good shape. Okay, we're doing good on time. In this game, we're going to look at a completely different opening from Innovation. we're going to see how he's going to use these same techniques to get to this mid-game situation. He's going to be doing these drops to force zealots. He's going to be getting a read on what's going on with his opponent. And then he'll be able to adjust accordingly. So we're going to pop in here. Cool. And the big thing that we're going to be asking in the next game, or in this game, is how on earth does he transition into the late game? Because if the Colossus count is high enough, and especially if you get it combined with the rest of the other things, like Storm, like Immortals, and Archons, we've seen players like SOS just roll over 4GG in the late game. So against usual late game compositions, we'll be relying on Ghosts, Vikings, more of that sort of thing. So we'll see how Innovation sets himself up quite smartly. Now, if I had had the opportunity to do this daily again, what I would have done is I would have just played through on the observer map and then saved the replay and then shown it. However, I am more than comfortable making a fool of myself with that micro. But still, I encourage you, because I'm reading the chat and everyone's like, oh my god, that was a disaster. But still, seriously, use the unit trainer. HOTS unit tester is what you can look up. HOTS unit tester. So same thing's coming up with Innovation. He's opening up with this Barracks Refinery. This is the most generic looking opening for Protoss. It's increasingly becoming the hardest to read because we don't know if it's a one-base play. We don't know if it's going to be an early expand into mech. We don't know if it's going to be an early expand into bio, etc., etc., etc. And there it is popping out. There's the reactor coming up. Innovation doing something a little cheeky, which is building of this engineering bay to guarantee block the expand. This is kind of the similar logic to the drops earlier on. It's going to force more gateway units and delay the tech. So Innovation is going to be going for the same sort of look that he was going for following that up. Double Marine, he's going for this command center. Notice it's command center on high ground with an instant bunker because there's a possibility our opponent will be going 4 gate, but that's fine. We can put the engineering bay here and try to Reaper sneak our way up this backside. Cancel goes down. And a different opening from Innovation. He goes for a very fast engineering bay while throwing down a second barracks. And the Marines position to deal with any mothership coring. So the Reaper did in fact manage to sneak up into the base, sees that nope, no 4-gate happening, and also sees the Nexus. So this is where we have a very comfortable Innovation who just instantly responds by moving down the bottom of his ramp, repositioning this bunker, and expanding! Now this timing I think is very easy to botch. This is the sort of timing that I think a lot of players will get this +1 down and then rush for factory. But then you end up with this awkward timing where you have +1 and no units and medevacs. And it's not really good for much of anything. So Innovation is smartly delaying this refinery until after he started these 3 barracks. And then he's spending his gas on Stim first, and spending his gas on these add-ons first to get everything up and in good shape. Yeah, there's the add-on. And then the last thing he does is build the factory. This is not as fast a factory as Innovation could get, but again, we want this +1 armor to line up meaningfully. So Innovation also does this other really cute push that's kind of the same logic as doing a Hellbat drop. So here we are, we're SOS. I think I can't remember if he built these in response or just had them built anyways. I will back up to investigate. Okay, so in the SOS cam, yeah, he's actually building his zealots right now. These are not an in-response zealots, these are just building zealots. But Innovation, now that he has +1 attack, there it is finishing up. And we have the combat shield coming up as well. Tries to make this push. Now I want you to carefully look at the production tab. This will almost always have this effect. We saw another zealot was constructed in the meantime. This, by and large, looks like something you would label as a terrible spot for the Terran if he gets pinched off. He only killed some Zealots. Whoa, not really a huge gain, but great. We're continuing to force him to build more Zealots, which is something we're happy to have since we're going for mid-game Hellbats. Picking off the Sentry is always valuable. That's really going to mess him up. Sentries mess with our force, especially in those small numbers.
Research.
Now we have +1 armor coming up. And I like this, that Innovation actually found a timing attack with +1. It wasn't just a sort of arbitrary +1.
Research.
And getting ready to move out again. So I'm actually going to go to the everyone cam. We're seeing a kind of compositional change from SOS. He's not going for the usual sort of Colossus turtle into Templar. And he is going for this big Zealot Archon mixture that a lot of people are enjoying. This 2-base play where you do a Warp Prism drop at the same instant that the other player's doing those Marines. So either way, Innovation. Going to be doing these same drops, going to be forcing continual increase in Zealots. We're more than happy to go fight up against a rather Zealot-heavy force because our Hellbots are oh so good against that. Now, I should temper this by saying that a lot of speed Zealots will crush like anything. If the numbers are too big. So, I mean, if we get like 4 Hellbats, we can't just be like, ah, I've done it, yeah! We do have to be at least a little bit careful. But Innovation, most Terrans pull back right now, regroup and move out, but these drops can force more Zealots. So I'm actually just going to stop here for part 2. And in part 3, we're going to see Innovation continue to do these drops. We're seeing how he's transitioning up into Hellbats. But this is an important time to stop because we're seeing how a lot of early pieces of his build are going to fit into the mid pieces of his build. So, stay tuned, because we're not done. Coming back soon. God, what a disaster that unit test was. Woo! Oh my god, thank god part 2's over, man. Oh, that stung. Thank god Super Manfred's here to the rescue. Alright, on a break.